So UFC Fight Night Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley is taking place this weekend. And overall, it's a pretty good fight night. When all things are considered, what we've been getting recently, we got a lot of good names on this card. We got Kamaru Usman, we got Buckley, we got Namajunas, Edmond Shabbazian, Cody Garbrandt, Barcelos. We got a bunch of really good prospects on this list as well. We got Manser, Abdul, Malik, Umar. We got the rebooking of NBA youngboy Ralpho, Bolato. We got a lot of really good fights on this card, so let's get straight into it. Tony Has Died, will be breaking down every single fight on this card. Number 1 on this list, we got Phil Rowe versus Angelusa. Now, here's the thing about this fight. Phil Rowe was once a very, very good prospect in the welterweight division, to the point where he got a fight with Neil Magny. Working your way to Neil Magny in the UFC is basically like the UFC basically saying, okay, we trust you to be a good welterweight. Let's give him the Neil Magny test. And he went to a split decision, very close fight with Neil Magny, but Neil Magny ended up getting the win. Kind of crazy to get whooped by Neil Magny, but he has been super inactive since then. He hasn't fought for a whole year. On the other hand, we got Angelusa. Angelusa, he was, famously he fought Brian Battle, and Brian Battle accidentally eye poked him, and then he's like, I can't see. And then mysteriously right after the fight, Brian Battle's like, I was beating your fucking ass, man. And Angelusa was like trying to fight him. I'm like, if you can fight him now, why didn't you just fight him in the cage? And that's the reason I'm going to be picking against Angelusa, is because I don't really like his mentality coming into this. He's 10-4 in the UFC. He should be on a 2-fight losing streak. Lost to Gabriel Bonfim. Versus Phil Rowe, his 2 losses are to Magny. I know Magny's a pretty bad loss to have, but he still was a ranked welterweight. And he lost to Jake Matthews, who's been on a pretty good tear lately. So I don't really rate Phil Rowe's losses as badly as I rate Angelusa. How do you get fucking decision by Manor Lazez, He's not even a good fucking fighter, Now, one thing that is concerning is the age difference. I do think that Phil Rowe is an older fighter. He doesn't have much left to do in the sport, and Angelusa, he is younger. He's coming into this, but I just don't think that he's as technically good as Phil Rowe, and I don't like his mentality going into fights. So I'm going to be picking Phil Rowe to win this fight. Next fight on the card, we got Ricky Simone versus Cameron Smotherman. Now, originally, this fight was supposed to be Ricky Simone versus Charles Jourdain. Unfortunately, Charles Jourdain had to pull out with something. I don't know exactly what it was, but Ricky Simone is going to get this done, man. Cameron Smotherman, he is just not a good fighter. He's 1-1 in the UFC. Beat Jake Hadley. His performance over Jake Hadley made me think that he had a good future in the UFC. He's super young as well. Whenever a fight is on short notice like this, it's always super sketchy to me, bruh. Like, I can't pick the guy coming in on short notice, especially like a week's notice, Now, Ricky Simone, he has had a couple of bad losses lately. Lost to Mario Batista, lost to Vinicius Oliveira, lost to Song Yadong. But those are all very good people to beat, and I don't think that Cameron Smotherman's on that level for sure. Especially if you watch his last fight with Surrey City, he's just not on that level. Simone's like, he's in his prime. He's 32. I think Ricky Simone's going to get this done by knockout, probably first round. I'll go second round, actually. I'm going to go Ricky Simone by knockout. Next fight on this card, we got Cody Durden versus Jose Ocheca. Dude, Cody Durden, he's on my no-pick list, bro. Anytime I see Cody Durden fighting, listen, he beat Matt Schnell. Whoop-de-fucking-do, you beat Matt Schnell, bro. Anytime he's fought anybody with any sort of, talent, he's lost, bro. Cody Durden is just not a good fighter. I'm going to pick the up-and-coming Jose Ocheca, 24 years old. He's got 1 loss in the UFC, but it's to who I think is the best prospect in the UFC and someone who I think is going to go on to do great things in this division in Loner Kavanaugh. So I don't really rate losing to Loner Kavanaugh that bad, because Loner Kavanaugh is really, really good. Besides that loss, he's undefeated. So this will be his first, I wouldn't say real test, but obviously fighting Loner Kavanaugh is a real test, but I think this will be the first time we'll get to see Ocheca have some competition. You know what I mean? Cody Durden, you beat him, bro. He's the fucking bomb of the division. I think Jose Ocheca, I might be pronouncing that wrong. Jose Ochoa, maybe that's how you pronounce it. What's his last name? Calzifer. That's a pretty cool That's a pretty cool nickname, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna be picking Jose Ocheca. Cody Durden, he just sucks, bro. But I don't think Ocheca will like finish him or anything. I think he'll get a decision here. All right, next fight on the card, dude. They are doing Chris Matino dirty, man. Okay, if you don't know who Chris Matino is, he beat Damon Blackshear on the regional scene, all right? And he steps in on short notice to fight Sean O'Malley. I can't remember who Sean O'Malley was supposed to fight originally, but he fights in on Sean O'Malley. One of the worst beatdowns in UFC history. Sean O'Malley, imagine getting your head dribbled like a basketball. Listen, man, Smitty was over there. He was dribbling his head too. Like, he got the fuck beat out of him by Sean O'Malley badly, bro. He has one more fight. I'm pretty sure it was against a guy named Guido Canidi. Complete can. And he knocks him out quicker than O'Malley did. And there was like a lot of people being like, I guess O'Malley doesn't have that much power. Because how did that guy knock out? It was some really weird fight, bro. But Chris Matino, he's worked his way back to the UFC. He's on a 5-fight win streak. They're feeding him to the most dangerous person in his division that's a prospect right now, Malcolm Wmaker. He wanted to fight in his hometown, his home state, I guess. He's from Augusta, Georgia, just an hour away from Atlanta. He said, I don't give a fuck. He's doing what Buckley did. He said, I want to be on this Atlanta card. I want to knock someone out in front of my home crowd, get a whole bunch of fans on my side. Malcolm Wmaker, he's going to be a really good fighter in the UFC, and I just have to feel bad for Chris Matino because it feels like the UFC is just putting him up there for people to recognize him from the O'Malley fight. You know what I mean? Like, people will see Chris Matino and be like, hey, there's that guy with the green hair that got beat up by O'Malley, and he got knocked the fuck out again. Malcolm Wmaker, he's just too fast. Chris Matino gets hit too often. Now, I could see Chris Matino going 3 rounds, possibly making it to a decision, but even if he does get to the decision, he's still getting knocked out, bro. Like, I mean, not knocked out. He's still losing. Like, he's not losing. He's not gonna win this fight. I just feel bad for him, bro, because he's worked his way back and he gets another killer in his debut. So, next fight on this card, dog. We're about to see Michael Chiesa in 2025 on a 3-fight win streak. The UFC really, really likes Michael Chiesa, and they're literally giving him just like the easiest fights. Why is Michael Chiesa getting Court McGee? Like, why is he not getting fed to a contender, you know? So he loses to Vicente Luque by a Darce. He loses to Sean Brady by decision. Kind of crazy Sean Brady couldn't finish Chiesa. He loses to Kevin Holland by Darce. He's on like a 4-fight losing streak at that point, and they're like, all right, we're going to give you Tony Ferguson. If you beat Tony Ferguson, that doesn't really mean shit to me, bro. So we're not even going to count that. Beating Tony in 2024 is nothing crazy, all right? But then he beat Max Griffin by submission. Michael Chiesa, he's a really weird fighter because he has a really good submission game, but he also has no submission defense, especially against a Darce. I mean, he loses to a Darce in all of his fights. Bro, Court McGee just fucking sucks. Like, getting knocked out by Jeremiah Wells, getting knocked out by fucking Matt Brown in 2023 is crazy. Losing to Alex Morano. Just like a year ago, it seemed like Michael Chiesa was about to get cut from the sport, and now it seems like he's about to go on a 3-fight win streak because Court McGee is just not on his level technically, bro. Like, he will take Court McGee. Like, if you can't, he will take Court McGee down, all right? Michael Chiesa is good enough to take Court McGee down. If you watch the Alex Morano fight, these guys literally look like they were fighting underwater, bro. Like, it was very sad. Like, it was really sad to watch that Alex Morano fight. Yeah, man, Chiesa's losing to good people. Holland. We've seen Holland re-enter the rankings at welterweight. Sean Brady, probably going to be fighting for a belt soon. Vicente Luque, that was prime Luque. So, I'm not going to hold those losses to Michael Chiesa too badly. I think he'll be fine for this fight. I think he'll defeat Court McGee, probably by submission. I'm going to go round 1 or 2. All right, bro. We got Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bolato. It got rescheduled because Bolato, he had herpes. And look, man, I'm not going to hate on that too bad. Right? Pulling out of a fight for herpes is kind of crazy. You know, what's crazy about the whole situation was he didn't even have to tell us what it was. Like, he could have just been like, oh yeah, I had a staph infection and I couldn't fight. Or he could have been like, I hurt myself backstage. Sorry, I couldn't fight. But he goes on Instagram and is like, yeah, I had herpes, bruh. I have herpes and I can't fight Paul Craig. Paul Craig is going to be like spraying Germ-X on himself when he's getting into the cage. Do not give me herpes. Don't give me herpes, lad. Get that out of here. you know? Paul Craig is not fucking with that, but it doesn't matter. I still think that Bolato is going to win this fight. Paul Craig, Bo Nickel's best win, by the way. Yeah, it's a pretty bad look for Bo Nickel right there. Somehow he beat Andre Muniz, but yeah, man, Paul Craig, he's just been getting done dirty lately. Subbed by Brendan Allen, knocked out by Kaio, knocked out by John. Like, getting knocked out by Johnny Walker is crazy, especially this version of Johnny Walker. I mean, Bo Nickel, he lost to Bo Nickel, man, who has no technical ability on the feet. Couldn't sub him. Bolato, he's been on a crazy win streak. KO on Dana White's Contender Series. KO'd Ihor Potieria. I know that doesn't mean shit. The fight with Jimmy Crute was very close. I don't even know. Like, Jimmy Crute won. Well, it says it was a draw, I guess. I think Jimmy Crute got robbed in that fight, perhaps. I think they gave Bolato a 10-8, like, very strange 10-8, if I remember that fight correctly. But Jimmy Crute, that's a really bad loss to have, or a draw to have. Bolato's going to knock out Paul Craig. Paul Craig is done, all right? That's what I'll say about that fight. Alonzo Menfield versus Umar Sy. I got Umar Sy by knockout, man. He's one of the best prospects in the UFC. Now, do I think that he'll ever fight for a belt? I don't know. He's very young right now, 29 years old. Alonzo Menfield, 37. Alonzo Menfield, he just gets knocked the fuck out by anyone that has any semblance of skill. Like, he'll beat the Jimmy Crutes. You know, he had a very close fight with Jacoby. He'll beat the Julius Walkers of the world, even though that was like I'm pretty sure that was short notice for Julius Walker, and it was still very close. Alonzo Menfield just isn't that good of a fighter, man. Like, I don't know how this guy was a ranked. Got whooped by Mirzakhanov and Olberg. Not too bad of losses considering those guys are really good in the UFC, but let's keep it a buck, man. Umar Sy, fighting out of France. He's a minus 480 favorite. He's got the reach advantage. He's got the height advantage. He's got the age advantage. He has the power advantage. He has the skill advantage. He has every advantage in this fight, and he should walk through Alonzo Menfield with ease. Umar Sy will knock out Alonzo Menfield. And speaking of good prospects, we got Cody Brundage versus Manser Abdul Malik. Manser Abdul Malik is going to make light work of Cody Brundage. I mean, this is a gimme, bro. You got to pick Manser Abdul Malik to knock out Cody Brundage. Knocked out in this fight. Knocked out, subbed in this fight, knocked out in this fight. I mean, he's been knocked out just so many times. Cody Brundage isn't good, bro. Main card of UFC 300, by the way. Well, we won't forget, bro. But, yeah. Next thing we got Cody Garbrandt versus Ronnie Barcelos. I think Ronnie Barcelos is underrated, and I think the win over Peyton Talbot proved that he's underrated. We look at his recent losses. Bro, losing to Umar Nurmagomedov and losing to Kyler Phillips isn't bad, bro. This guy beat Saeed Nurmagomedov. This guy beat Chris Gutierrez, you know? He's underrated. He's just super inactive. Like, if this guy fought more often, I think he'd have a better chance. And that's why I like this fight for him, is because he's picking up the activity. He had a fight earlier this year against the hottest prospect, Peyton Talbot, wrestle-fucked Peyton Talbot. Peyton Talbot, is at this stage in his career, is just a better technical striker than Cody Garbrandt. I think that will have a lot of success for Barcelos. And now you could say that Cody Garbrandt actually has decent wrestling, which is true. It's crazy to say this because he's only 34 years old, but Cody Garbrandt is washed. Cody Garbrandt is washed at the ripe age of 34 years old, man. Now you could say that his losses aren't bad losses either. Weight drain cut to KKF, Rob Font, you know, Davison Figueiredo. He's beating the no-names of the division, but Ronnie Barcelos isn't a no-name, man. He's a crafty vet, as Lucas Tracy would say. I think Ronnie Barcelos is going to take Cody Garbrandt down. We saw Davison Figueiredo take Garbrandt down. He's a smaller guy than Ronnie. I think that Ronnie should get this fight done by submission. Cody Garbrandt, probably the worst. I hate to say it, bro, because he's a super entertaining fighter, but Cody Garbrandt's about to be 14-7 in the UFC, man. Like, that's a very bad look. He might, I might, like, they're not going to cut him because he has a name value. Seeing Garbrandt's fall from grace isn't bad. I wish him the best in this fight. I hope he gets it done because the division is a lot more interesting with these guys. But Ronnie Barcelos should get this fight done by submission, in my opinion. Next fight on the card, I don't really get the placement for this fight on the card, but I think it's Edmond Shabbazian versus Andre Petroski. I think they put it this high because they know there'll be a finish in this fight. First round will be crazy, and I'm picking Edmond Shabbazian to win this fight because Andre Petroski fucking sucks. Alright? Now we look at Edmond Shabbazian. He lost to Fluffy Hernandez. Fair enough, bro. Fluffy's a good fighter. He's beat all the fucking cans that have been given to him, and he was winning I love GM3. GM3 is my boy, bro. I talk to him on the daily basis. He was beating GM3 until he got subbed by him. I picked GM3 to win because he's my boy. Got lucky, got that fight right. But there's honestly an argument that fight against GM3 could have been stopped. Edmond Shabbazian, AJ Dobson. He beats the fucking cans in this division, and Andre Petroski is exactly that, bro. Edmond Shabbazian, he's a great finisher. This will be a first round highlight reel finish for Edmond Shabbazian. Mark my words on that. Alright, bruh. Rose Namajunas should win this fight, man. She's just a better fighter everywhere than Miranda Maverick. Now, Miranda Maverick, she's put up 4 wins in a row. But who is she really beating in these 4 wins? Nobody of name value. Andrea Lee, probably the worst fighter in the UFC. Just got cut. Yeah, Andrea Lee, fucking terrible. Beat Priscilla Chikara, whatever her name is. Beat Diane Barbosa. Beat Jamie Lynn Horth. Jamie Lynn Horth, that's a decent win, I guess, but we look at the fucking level of competition that Rose Namajunas is defeating. Lost to Erin Blanchfield. Alright, Erin Blanchfield is the next version of the sport, you know. She's the next good thing. Beat Tracy Cortez. That's not a bad... That's punched her eyelash right off her face, if you guys remember that correctly. Beat Amanda Ribas. You know, I'm not going to take too long on this fight because I don't want to lose you guys. I think Rose Namajunas should just decision Miranda Maverick. She's been using her grappling more lately. I could see her taking Miranda Maverick down. We got the last fight on this card. Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley, the main event for 5 rounds. I'm so excited for this fucking fight, bro. I'm so fucking hyped for this fight. Because, yeah, Kamaru Usman might be on a 3-fight losing streak, alright? But that doesn't even matter. Because you look at his performances and his fucking losses. The Leon Edwards fight, the first one, yeah, he got head kick knocked out. But he was winning that fight up until the head kick. And Leon won, right? The Leon Edwards, the second fight. That fight was 3-2. Leon got a point taken. There's an argument that fight could have been a draw. But Leon won 4 rounds on 2 scorecards. You could score it a draw, especially with the point taken, all right? So that's still not a bad performance for Usman. And then the Chimaev fight. You could score that fight a draw as well. That first round was a very weak 10-8, you know? You could say, like, Usman didn't do anything that round, but Chimaev kind of just controlled Usman that round as well. And he did really good in the last 2 rounds against Chimaev, and we've seen what Chimaev has done to everybody else since then, bro. Choked out Robert Whittaker in one, like, fucking minute. So, going 3 rounds with Chimaev, especially stuffing his takedowns in the later rounds, standing up and banging with him, that fight could arguably be a draw as well. So, but the problem for Usman is his durability, bro. Because you see him, like, if you watch videos of Usman outside of fighting, he's like basically like frog stepping everywhere. He got the cobblestone knees. You know what I mean? Like, you look at fucking Kamaru Usman's knees, they're on 1 HP. Like, you know, in Fortnite when you're like building and you hit something and it shows like the HP of what you're hitting, bro. Like, that's what's up with Usman's knees. They're on 1 HP, bro. His manager, Ali Abdelaziz, says he has to put injections in just to fucking spar, bro. So, very, very concerning, the durability. He's 38 years old. He's put up some good performances in his last fights, though. Don't let the fucking losses deceive you. And then we got Joaquin Numanza Buckley. He has completely turned his career around, moving to welterweight. That's clearly the weight class where he belongs. Knocked out Wonder Boy, who, like, on the feet knocked him out. Knocked out Colby Covington. Fucking stuffed the takedowns of Colby. Made it look easy, bro. Made Colby look easy, and yeah, Colby's old too, bro. Don't let Joaquin Buckley fucking step into the nursing home, I guess. That's going to be the narrative for Buckley if he ends up losing this fight. Like, if he loses this fight, if he wins this fight, the narrative's going to be he only beats old people. What's he going to do to someone who actually has some skill in that division? You know what I mean? Because Luque is old. Alex Morono is old. Well, actually, Luque's not old. He only beats washed people. That's what they're going to say, bro. Who has he beaten that's really that good? You can say that about a lot of people at welterweight, though. They've only been just clearing out the old heads of the division, you know? Usman is very game in this fight, but the long layoff plus the fucking injuries that he's conceded, the momentum that Buckley's carrying with him, I like Buckley in this fight, all right? There's a reason he's the favorite. Joaquin Buckley, the way he fights like Mike Tyson, he's got like a peekaboo style, you know what I mean? Like, when he fucking throws one of those hooks, he puts his whole fucking energy into one of them bitches. He's like a mini Mike Tyson if Mike Tyson did MMA. That's how he fights, for real. But another thing about this fight is we've seen Buckley lose before. And all the people that he's lost to have been big people. You know what I mean? Like, he lost to Chris Curtis. He lost to Kevin Holland. Usman's a big welterweight, so Usman is still game in this fight. I think that there is a chance for Usman to win, and there's going to be a couple people picking Usman to win this fight. But logic and statistics and, just my gut feeling tells me that Buckley, he's on a tear. He's evolved to another level. He's been given good fights, and ever since he joined welterweight, he's been on a fucking tear, dude. Like, he's just been killing everybody. The fight with Wonder Boy is super impressive, and I know Wonder Boy's old, bro, but Wonder Boy, like, to beat Wonder Boy not via wrestling, to beat Wonder Boy via striking with him is highly impressive. So here's how I see this fight going. A very close first round, but I think Buckley will, like, fucking... I can just see Buckley like landing some shots that like stun Kamaru in the first round. I can see Buckley going for those some oblique kicks too because of Usman's knees, landing some nasty leg kicks on the inside. He doesn't throw in many leg kicks. He's mostly a boxer. He's got a boxing wrestling kind of style. But yeah, I can see Buckley shooting some takedowns, not getting them, pushing Usman against the cage, hitting Usman off the break. But for Usman, I can see Usman taking Buckley down, holding him there, landing a couple shots on Buckley. But Usman's never really been a knockout artist. He knocked out Gilbert Burns and he knocked out Masvidal. Broke Colby's jaw, but Colby was still ready to fight in that fight. Usman's not going to knock out Buckley. He's going to have to win by decision. And at this age, I just don't think I could see that happening. I do think the fight will be competitive until Buckley knocks out Usman, And I think he will knock him out in the 5th round. I think it'll be either 2-2 or 4-1 Buckley going into the 5th. And Buckley will just find the right shot on Kamaru. Finish him via TKO. I don't think it will be an out cold highlight reel knockout like he did Wonder Boy. I do think that he will knock out Marty Fake Newsman. Maybe Usman can like pick out his own funeral fit. You know what I mean? Kamaru Usman. You're taking everything I work for. I'm on, man. I'm gonna fuck you up, man. That's fucking Buckley, man. Dude, his mentality. I'm gonna get my grandma a house. My grandma. I gotta fucking pay my grandma health bills, man. Kamaru Usman, he's already made his money. He's made his legacy. I honestly think Kamaru Usman should have gone back up to middleweight. I think that there was legacy fights for him in there, like Robert Whittaker, maybe the rematch with Strickland. Like, I feel like there are fights for Usman at middleweight. He's already done everything at welterweight. I don't really understand why he's fighting at welterweight still. Especially, like, why do you want to keep cutting weight too, Especially at this age and at your size. Very concerning. Tyler the Destroyer, he should get this one done via knockout, man. And Buckley's quickly climbing my ladder to one of my favorite fighters in the UFC, man. His trash talk is awesome. His skits are funny. We are really missing like a black superstar in the UFC right now. Like, we got John Jones, but he's out the gate. He's basically retired, Like, we are missing the black star of the UFC. The Rampage Jackson, the John Jones, the Usman, the old Usman. We're missing the fucking black guy of the UFC, and Buckley's going to be the new black guy. He's going to be the black superstar of the UFC. That's my take on this fight. So Joaquin Buckley will knock out Kamaru Usman round 5. Close fight until it's not. That's my prediction. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I love every single one of you guys. Thank you for subscribing and tuning into my takes, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.